There's a truth about life that no one wants to tell you until it's too late. It's a lesson forged in hardship, betrayal, and the painful observation that those you once trusted can dismantle the very foundation of your dignity. As you age, and no matter how free or nostalgic you feel, there come certain doors you should never knock on. These doors, once opened, may release forces that can undo years of your hard work and self-respect in an instant. Today, I want to talk to you about the kinds of people whose homes and whose lives you must avoid if you wish to preserve your peace, your integrity, and your future. There is a deep, unsettling realization that often creeps up on us as we grow older. People change, and not always for the better. Those who once seemed like pillars of support can become sources of ongoing pain. The betrayal of trust, when committed by someone close, isn't merely a broken promise. It's a seismic shift in how you understand your own worth. When someone you once held dear deliberately chooses to turn their back on you, it is as if the very ground beneath your feet has been riven with cracks. Such betrayals are never accidental. They are deliberate, calculated choices that reveal where you stand in the other person's hierarchy of values. When someone betrays you, they are not just hurting you in the moment. They are in essence communicating that your trust, your relationship, and your well-being are less valuable than the gain they seek, be it social status, financial advantage, power, or even the fleeting satisfaction of momentary vindication. That choice, made in the heat of a difficult moment, is a revelation. It tells you that despite all your efforts, despite the nurturing and love you poured out over the years, someone you cared about has decided that their benefit outweighs your bond. And the pain of that realization can echo through the rest of your life, if you're not careful. Now, here is the difficult truth: once betrayal occurs, it doesn't simply vanish with time. Many people convince themselves that the passage of years will heal old wounds, that perhaps things can be mended if given another chance. They believe that revisiting the past might offer closure or even a reconnection. But time does not alter intentions, it merely reveals them. The moment you allow yourself to step back into the home or the life of someone who has betrayed you, you send an unspoken message that their hurtful actions carry no lasting consequences for you. This act, however subtle, tells them that you are still willing to be vulnerable, that you haven't learned to protect yourself from further harm. Allowing that door to remain open gives permission for betrayal to happen again. It suggests that the cost of their actions was not significant enough to change their behavior. The cycle of betrayal, once initiated, can become self-perpetuating. If you keep returning to the very people who have wronged you, you risk reopening wounds that you thought had healed. True strength, especially in the later stages of life, lies in knowing which doors must remain closed. Not every relationship can be mended, and sometimes the most loving act you can perform is to let go. Today I will share with you a detailed exploration of 8 types of people you must avoid in your later years. These are the individuals who, through their actions and the toxic energy they exude, have the potential to rob you of your peace, dignity, and the hard-earned wisdom that only comes with experience. They are the ones who will, time and again, pull you back into a state of despair just when you are ready to embrace a higher ground of self-fulfillment. Let's delve into each one. 1. The eternal victim. The eternal victim is the person who has, for as long as you can remember, refused to take responsibility for their own life. They are forever ensnared in a cycle of blame, constantly pointing fingers at external forces, the government, their family, their employer, or even the universe, without ever acknowledging their own role in their misfortune. They have built an identity around suffering, wearing their pain as a badge that, in their eyes, absolves them of the need to change. This perpetual state of helplessness is like a magnet for negativity. The eternal victim lives as if life happens to them, not through them, and in doing so they create a self-fulfilling prophecy of despair. Every conversation with them becomes a litany of grievances, a never-ending retelling of past wrongs that not only drains their energy but also begins to erode yours. Imagine the countless hours spent listening to stories of injustice and misfortune, hours that could have been invested in your own growth and happiness. When you allow an eternal victim into your life, you risk being pulled into their vortex of suffering. Their inability to see beyond their own pain can stifle your own joy, as their persistent negativity begins to infect your outlook. In your later years, when every moment is a precious commodity, you must guard your time and energy fiercely. Recognize that while you may empathize with their struggles, your well-being cannot be sacrificed on the altar of their perpetual victimhood. Stand firm, set clear boundaries, And understand that sometimes the only person you can save is yourself. 2. The manipulator. Next, consider the manipulator, an individual who excels in the art of emotional exploitation. Manipulators are masters of disguise. They can charm you with their words and actions, all while covertly twisting your thoughts to serve their own agenda. They are adept at using your vulnerabilities against you, making you feel guilty for simply having boundaries or for daring to stand up for yourself. A manipulator's tactics are insidious. They often begin by offering what appears to be genuine kindness, drawing you in with compliments and flattery that seem heartfelt. However, as you grow closer, you begin to notice that their support comes with hidden strings attached. They may use subtle threats, employ gaslighting techniques, or invoke your sense of duty to keep you in a constant state of emotional indebtedness. Their charm is a facade designed to lower your defenses, so that eventually, you find yourself questioning your own worth and judgment. Over time, the manipulative tactics of such individuals can distort your reality. Their constant guilt-tripping and emotional blackmail not only sap your energy but also undermine your confidence. In the vulnerable later years of life, when clarity and stability are paramount, you cannot afford to have someone distort your perceptions or drain your emotional reserves. It is essential to trust your instincts, set unyielding boundaries, and remember that your worth is not defined by someone who only values you for what they can extract. Your energy is sacred. Do not allow a manipulator to diminish it. Recognizing a manipulator early on can be challenging, as their methods are often subtle and cloaked in charm. Yet, the moment you notice that every time you set a boundary, they twist the conversation to make you feel selfish or ungrateful, you must stand your ground. Your time and energy are far too valuable to be controlled by someone whose only aim is to bend you to their will. 3. The energy vampire. The energy vampire is like a dark cloud that follows you everywhere, draining your vitality with every interaction. These individuals thrive on negativity, always ready to turn even a simple conversation into an exhausting saga of complaints and despair. They are rarely satisfied, no matter how much attention or support they receive, and their perpetual dissatisfaction is infectious. Imagine spending an entire afternoon with someone who seems to have an endless list of problems, a person who always finds something to gripe about. Their chronic pessimism acts like a slow drain on your emotional reservoir, leaving you feeling depleted and uninspired. In your later years, when every bit of energy is precious, you cannot afford to be around someone whose sole focus is on what's wrong with the world. Energy vampires are particularly dangerous because their negativity can subtly begin to shape your own perspective. The more you listen to their endless complaints, the more you might start to see the world through a lens of hopelessness, missing out on the beauty and potential that still exists around you. To protect your well-being, it is crucial to recognize these individuals, and with a heavy heart, distance yourself from their draining influence. Sometimes, distancing yourself from an energy vampire is not an act of cruelty, but a necessary measure for self-preservation. Surround yourself instead with those who uplift you, who celebrate the good in life, and who leave you feeling renewed and inspired. Remember, your energy is your most precious asset. Guard it fiercely, and do not allow anyone to leech it away. 4. The false friend. A false friend is perhaps one of the most insidious figures in our lives. A person who pretends to be loyal and caring, yet secretly undermines you at every turn. They smile and offer kind words when you're together, but behind your back they may spread gossip, sow discord, or even take pleasure in your misfortunes. The betrayal of a false friend can be one of the deepest wounds, as it shatters the trust that once bound you together. False friends are masters of deception. They cloak their true intentions under a veneer of support, making it difficult to detect their duplicity until the damage is done. Driven by envy, insecurity, or a desire for control, they use your vulnerabilities against you, creating a web of betrayal that can leave you isolated and questioning the very nature of friendship. The impact of a false friend is not always immediate, but over time their subtle acts of sabotage can erode your sense of security and self-worth. They may engage in behaviors that seem innocuous at first. A slight criticism here, a dismissive comment there, but these accumulate into a profound sense of betrayal. In your later years, when trust is more fragile than ever, The presence of a false friend can poison your social circle and make it difficult to build genuine, lasting connections. It is essential to learn to recognize the red flags of false friendship and to invest your time in relationships that are built on trust,